right, you're welcome back. We're going to be switching gears now to talk women's issues, and I have here with me co-founder, She Leads Africa, Ifua Osei. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming all the way from Ghana, even though you're an honorary Nigerian, aren't you?
I am, at this point, I am.
Great stuff. She Leads Africa. It's a very catchy name, and every time I hear the name, I almost kind of think I know what it is about. She Leads Africa, women, taking the front seat and all of that. Am I wrong? What exactly does She Leads Africa do?
No, you're right, and I'm happy that the title is letting people know what we're trying to do. We are a community that helps young African women succeed in their businesses and careers. We host events across Africa and the diaspora, and we have online content that helps young women succeed. So we just want them to, whatever their dreams and aspirations are, for them to have the resources to go do it.
So I believe you had a 9-to-5 at some point.
I did. It wasn't 9 to 5 though. It was
you had a
8 a.m. to 10 p.m. That kind of job. Yes.
8 to whenever you're done for the day.
Yes.
And you left that for this. Why so passionate about this? And I mean, how does this work for you?
Yeah. My partner and I saw that we had access to a whole host of resources to help us do well at work, or if we wanted to start a business, we knew how to navigate the scene. But in talking to other young women like ourselves and looking at all the events where entrepreneurs are pitching and you never see any women, and we realized there was a gap there and that young women were really looking for a space where they could learn, they could connect, they could share. I think if you look online for business and career advice for young women, it's very hard to find. So we realized that there was an opportunity there, and then we could use our backgrounds and expertise to add value. Of course, we tested it out while we kept our jobs, but once we were able to build a strong community and we knew that there was something there, we wanted to take the leap.
Do you find that, because I hear this a lot about, discrimination, or for want of a better word, with women and, with job creation or jobs generally. Do you find that it's deliberate, or it just so happens that it just doesn't come up with men to think that, okay, we need to do this? Or do you think people just actually say, yeah, let's favor the men first ahead of the women? What do you get?
I'd like to believe it's not discrimination. At least that's what I hope in 2016. I think a lot of it is unconscious bias, right? So when you think about who you're going to hire for a new role, you think about people that you know in your network. Maybe you think about people who went to your school, people that you're familiar with. And if you are an older man, it's very likely that most of those people in your network will be men. And many of the people that you see as potential mentees or people you can support are men. So sometimes it's not on purpose. And because people aren't aware about it, they don't realize that this is happening. So for us, we try to work on both sides. One is working with companies, working with investors to show them all the great talent that exists out there, but then also with the young women to make sure that they're putting themselves in the right positions and they're doing what they need to do to succeed as well.
So there's many women's organizations. Not enough still, but there's many of them. Why is your own any different?
Yeah. So we are very clear about who we focus on. Young women ages 18 to 35. Many of the young women have gone to school or are looking for professional careers, and they're looking for that next step. When my partner and I were researching and we were trying to understand kind of what exists out there, we actually saw a lot of groups on opposite sides of the spectrum. So for older women who are maybe looking for board seats or for corporate leadership, there's activities and programs for them. For girls, there's a whole bunch of activity around Girls Child and making sure they get education. For rural women, many times when you think about business in Africa, unfortunately it's focused on rural women, bead making or soap skills or basic subsistence work. But what happens to those children, right? The children of those young women who've gone to school, who are looking to grow and excel, and they have no clue what to do next because they don't have that network. They can't go to their family for advice. So we realized that there was this missing gap in the middle of young women who weren't right there. They hadn't made it yet, so they didn't really know how to navigate it, but they had enough support that they were able to get to school and kind of get their first job or get ready to start a business.
Okay. Well, we're going to come back to the conversation now, but I want to take you sort of off your core work with She Leads Africa, but to women's issues. I'm sure you, of course, you are. I said you're an honorary Nigerian, so you did know about the bill that was basically thrashed
Yes.
at the National Assembly for equal rights and all of that. What are your thoughts on that? And what is the case in Ghana with issues of women's rights and all of that, with regards to laws as they stand?
Yeah, I think that while many people were surprised, I hope that the bill not passing encourages and motivates more young women to get into politics. We see this all across the globe. There are people making decisions about your life that don't understand the issues, or they're not really thinking about you. So I hope this is a calling card for young women to say, you know what, I believe these issues are important. I believe I have a role to play, and I want to get involved in politics. I don't know why we've decided that you must be 40 and above before you go run for office or you go work in government. Like, no, if people are deciding things about you and how you can live and the rights that you have as a young woman or as a married person or as a child, then you should have an active voice to play. So while it was disappointing, I think it was a wake-up call, and more people realized, oh, there are these things happening behind the scenes that I didn't even know about.
Yeah.
Many people didn't even know about the bill until it was already defeated,
Yeah.
when that should have been on the agenda 6 months, a year ago, 2 years ago, as it was going through the process. I think across Africa and definitely in Ghana, you're seeing these issues of changing times. How do you deal with tradition versus new beliefs and new ideas about equality and access and rights? And so while a law like this hasn't come up in Ghana, you do see it in terms of protests and in terms of schools and universities and access issues. So I think it's a conversation that we'll be having across Africa over the next 5 to 10 years, as young people are getting aware and they have a voice to speak about what's important to them. And how do you translate that voice and all the conversation and hashtags on Twitter and Instagram and actually turn it into action that change people's lives?